Hello, fellow UX pros. Now let's talk about the risk evaluation after mitigations. From a mechanical point of view, well, it's the same as before. Now we just have the mitigations we also have to take into considerations. So let's just head straight to an example. We have defined our risk control measures by design, protective measures and descriptive measures. So taking our first measure by design, so buying this cloaking device from the Klingons, we see, well, this has quite a good effect on the probability of the risk actually materializing. Now we know such a cloaking device for a Klingon warbird, that's okay, but for a 150-kilometer Deathstar, well, that's probably not sufficient. You're still going to see some distortions. You can measure some gravitational waves coming from the Deathstar, so probability doesn't go as low as we would like it to be. So we also have this deflector shield. That's something we got from the after action reviews after episode 4, so the Deathstar 2 had such a shield, and now we see, yeah, it's pretty low. There is some theoretical or, well, kind of practical chance that it's still not going to be good enough. Yeah, well, you have seen episode 6, but yeah, we are now pretty low in the probabilities. And you also see, if you follow the track of how this risk evaluation moves through these quadrants, that the severity is usually not affected by risk control measures. It's you work with the probabilities. There may be some cases, but just if you look at the risk, if you explode, well, that's always exploding. It's just how you manage the chances that you're not exploding, you're affecting with risk control measures. But there may be some in other medical devices where you can also influence the severity. Okay, now if we also look at the risk control measures as in descriptive measures, well, there we typically see that you cannot, can I say, define or prove an actual impact of such measures. Even if you write into the manual, well, always close the space rodent protection grid. Yeah, there's one guy in the universe who's not doing it, and then, yeah, it already happened. And, well, just looking at the guys in the universe, we have to expect that, yeah, it's just still a probability of 100% that people are not closing it, as we have seen with the description in a previous video. Still, why do we do it then at all? Well, you know, from a regulatory perspective, and I would strongly see this also from a professional point of view, you just have to do whatever you can. Because, well, one thing is you just don't do it. Well, that would be just reasonably foreseeable misuse. We're looking at it later. Or if you didn't know you should do it, that's still a difference. And even if the probabilities may not be affected, I think it's just fair towards your users to give them a chance to do it. Okay, so that's already the whole thing about risk evaluations after mitigations. So one last thing, you see we are now in at least in the yellowish area, but this is now the combination of several risk control measures. Now, during the course of a project, it happens every now and then, well, at least that's what I keep hearing, that time is running out, budget is running out, and you may not be able to do everything you want to do. Maybe it's also not technically feasible. So this also means that you need to know what risk control measures have been considered in this evaluation, and should you skip one or the other, well, then you also have to re-evaluate the risk to make sure you're still in an area you feel that risk-benefit ratio is favorable. And, well, as I already said, most risk control measures do not affect the severity, they usually work just on the probability of a risk to materialize. So, that's it. Let's see how this continues.